If you're in the market for a used full electric vehicle, then this might be the list for you, because I'm going to give you my top picks, if you will. I don't mean just my favourite ones personally, but the ones that if someone asks me, I would probably go for or recommend first. So it could be those cars that, do you like when you see one that's new and you think, I like that? The Honda E is a perfect example. Fantastic little, small, not very great range EV, good premium car, sort of. You've got 50-50 weight distribution, rear wheel drive. It was just too expensive and the range wasn't good enough. So I wouldn't own one. But then when they start getting a lot cheaper, you're thinking, well, actually, maybe now might look at one. That sort of list. The ones that will emotionally appeal to you, as well as the ones that are just a really good workhorse. Ones that you would buy just to go to, the shops and back in, the commuter vehicle, the things to pile the miles on. So it isn't just cars that I think are really good in terms of a car, person's car. It could be just pure and simple good value. It's not often a sponsor approaches you that you've also used for many, many months before that happened. But this is one of those occasions. It is something we use a lot, and it's these guys. It's HelloFresh, a company that Harry got us onto, we've used for a while, and it's become a bit of a daddy-daughter thing for us because we're utterly useless when mummy's away of making our own meals. So I thought to challenge her in this one, the 13-year-old making a tea, just to show you how easy it is. Meal number 1, meal number 2, meal number 3. See, we won't starve to death when mummy's not here. Yay! Now we could use these, which are easy to follow for each recipe, but as you're a teenager, we'll use the iPad version. Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Are you impressed by yourself?
I am.
Oh, that's good. And we have leftovers as well. Now, this thing is simplicity in itself. You saw it arrive, everything's pre-measured, and if you can paint by numbers, you can cook one of these. You've got 40 odd to choose from each week, so you're going to find something. Or if you're going on holiday or something like that, you can just skip a week. So it's very configurable. Portions start from just £3.15, and that's before this discount code I'm about to give you. Via this QR code and a link in the description below, you can get 60% off the first week and 25% off for the next 2 months. So that's, well, this along here. And again, scan the QR code, whichever side I've put it on, and the description below will have the link to hellofresh.co.uk/EVM60. So once again, there's a QR code, there's the link in the description below, hellofresh.co.uk/EVM60. Thank you to them for helping the channel keep going, and thank you to you for clicking the link and signing up maybe. Now back to the cars that are on my list. This isn't in any particular order, although I have tried to group them together into kind of small cars and bigger cars, family cars, things like that. And if a car is not on this list, it doesn't mean I don't like it or it's not good in any way. It's just maybe there's a better option at that price or in that genre or whatever. This isn't an exhaustive list of all cars that might be good value necessarily, but these are the ones that I'm keeping an eye on more than others, shall we say. Let's start off with this, the Renault Zoe. So this is very much at the cheapest end, £3,500. It's a 2015 car, it is a battery lease, but for that price, it's an utter bargain. I got the one for £4,400 a few months ago, which we've now sold on. Brilliant, almost kept it. The only thing with this, because this is like others, a bit of a gamble, is that its MOT is due next month. Now the battery lease means the battery, the biggest thing you'd worry about, is covered. And you can buy it out if you wanted to get rid of that lease, but ultimately that could be either a bargain or there's some bill waiting. Either way, you're probably looking about £1,000 cheaper than it should be had it had 12 months MOT. But only ringing up will find out. This is why you have to sometimes, take a gamble. Just to put a bit more context into it, you've got this one, the 2013 Zoe. This is fully battery owned, just under £5,000. And remember, this is a price that it's been advertised at. You could hopefully get this cheaper than this. So you might get it for 4,600, 4,700, 4,800. They seem to be a very good, reliable, small car. Although when I say small, they're bigger than people expect. Up front, it's fine. The rear seats, not brilliant. Kids only, really. The boot, for example, it's slightly bigger in terms of litres than a Ford Focus's boot. So it's more practical than I think people give it credit for. Again, another Zoe, just to go to the next level. This is the facelift 50 kWh version. It's about three and a bit year old. In fact, no, it is 3 years old. 52 kWh battery. This does come with a rapid charging. There is no battery lease on these, on the 50 cars, the facelift ones. 9,200. It's done about 70 odd thousand miles, which is a lot for a car that's only 3 years old, because EVs can't do the miles apparently. But that will easily do over 200 miles. If you didn't want one with that sort of mileage on it, this has got about 40, I think, 30, 40. Again, same sort of thing, GT line, so it's one of the higher spec ones with rapid charging, because not all come with rapid charging. That's something I would always want. 10.5 grand for a 3.5 year old Renault Zoe. Now, as you may have seen in the previous video, a week, 2 or 3 back, I think there's one better than this in terms of if you just need a local car. It's this, it's the Seat Mii. 1,500 quid, maybe £2,000 cheaper than the other two, the triplets if you will, the Citigo and the Volkswagen e-Up. It's the same car, they're literally identical, yet this, for some reason, because it's got a Seat badge on it, I assume, is about 1,500 to £2,000 less than they are. Only one trim level, rapid charging with all, £10,000 for a 2.5 year old chuckable, full warranted car. The battery has got 8 years on it, the car's obviously got the remainder of the 3. It's not a family car, clearly, but if you need a second car or a city car or a commuter car, you live in London, wherever, that I think trumps the lot. Something a little bigger now, we have the Citroen EC4. The unique selling point of this, and the thing that makes us like it, is because it does have something unique that the other, in this case Stellantis clones, don't. It's super smooth, super comfortable. The suspension is just, it's witchcraft. £13,250 asking price for a 2.5 year old car that's done 40,000 miles. Slipping back into the small cars again, so I'm not quite doing this in order. This is more of an honourable mention, but again, I like the Honda E, and this will have been probably close to 30, maybe more in terms of list price, but 16,300 for a 3.5 year old one. In fact, no, it is 3 year old. It's done like 15,000 miles, and at that price, it's starting to get to that point where if you want something a little more unique, a little bit more premium, I mean, it's 50-50 weight distribution and rear-wheel drive, and the interior's solid. It's a bit bonkers. There's about 60 on sale at the moment in the whole country on Auto Trader. It's unique. It's something you won't see on, you know, probably anybody's drive on your street. So if you do want to stand out a little bit, or you just want something with a bonkers personality, that's the one that I would probably go for. But I'd like it to drop just a little bit more. Let's move on to more of a family car now. Now, the Kia Niro. If you watch the channel, you'll know that we highly rate this. This bigger battery version, which is this, so this is a 64 kWh version, that will do 40, maybe 50 miles more in the real world than my Tesla Model 3 sat outside, the standard range one. It's the top spec 4 version, it's got a couple of 100 brake horsepower, it's a good size family car, the rear's got a lot of space, the boot's a decent size, and it's got efficiency off the chart for a typical EV anyway. I think people who know what a Niro is, whether it's in petrol, electric or whatever form, it's a very common car, and you get a 7-year warranty with the Kias. This is why I like them. So that's a 2020 car, so it's 3 years old, it's a 70 reg. So it's got 4 years left on the car, not just the battery. So the next one, this is a 2022 Kia Niro, bigger battery version, but this is the 2 spec. So it's the entry level, it's the base spec. 15.5 grand for a car that's done 44,000 miles and is, 18-month old. I think that's undeniably good value. It would suit anybody. 250 real world miles should suit 90% of the people in the UK. That's London to Edinburgh, the centre of to the centre of, in, well, with one stop. That's a 9, maybe 10-hour drive. Come on. Now we've got the value brand new car, probably the best value brand new car, the MG4. So this is the standard battery range SE, so it's the entry level essentially. Less than 19 grand for a 1 year old car. I would call it a small family hatchback, but bigger than your Corsas and things like that. Yeah, you could manage, especially when I think of what we grew up with. If you wanted something higher spec, this is the Trophy long range version, so it's the top spec if you ignore the X-Power. 23 grand. Again, It's a year old for £23,000. We're getting to the point where you can compete in electric world with petrol on the used market for now. So that's one thing that we can get rid of. They've always been more expensive. Now there are at least some options. Sticking with the South Korean stuff, we have the Hyundai Kona. It shares its underpinnings, or a lot of it, with the Kia Niro. The only reason I would pick the Niro over this is because the Niro is a bigger car. It's got a bigger boot and bigger rear space. But this is just as efficient, maybe even slightly more efficient than the Niro is. So again, 250-60 real world range. You get the 5-year warranty with the Hyundai instead of the 7 on the Kia. So it's another reason to go for that for me. But 15.2 for a 3-year-old car. You get the 7 years on the battery, I think it is. And again, the car's under warranty for another 2 years. So there's no issues in terms of does it work, or buying that used car sort of anxiety. Another one to show you, 15.5 grand. It's 4 years old, in a bit of a, well, quite a cool colour. I do like that. This has got a lot less miles than the red one there. Sticking with the South Korean brands, look at this, an Ioniq 5. Lots of people love this car. I really like the look of it. It's the smaller battery version, the 58 kilowatt hour SE Connect. It's again 18 months old, £24,000 for an Ioniq 5. It's a big car. I mean, inside there's a huge amount of interior space, decent boot. And speaking of size and family cars, this one, the Skoda Enyaq. Big boot, big rear. It's an ID4 underneath, a Volkswagen ID4, only with a better interior. And a smaller price tag. The 62 kilowatt hour version, the Nav Suite, 21 grand. That's the 2021 plate car. That's a lot of metal for 21 grand. Even in petrol world, that wouldn't be far off. And a 30,000 miler, again, you can't really argue with the practicality. If you've got the family with a dog, roof rack, that's the EV to go for really, at this price bracket especially. Let's go a little bit more premium now. The Audi e-tron. Less than 20 grand for a 71 kilowatt hour Audi SUV. It's a 2020 model, so that's 3 years old. It's a 70 plate. It's done 65,000 miles, solid interior, nice ride, quick enough. Yes, 50 Shades of Audi. I'm not an Audi SUV fan, I'm really not. But when you start to look at that interior and it'd be really comfortable and solid build quality again, for less than 20 grand, you can't really ignore it. They're sold a lot, especially on lease. I know a lot of NHS people had an e-tron, which is why I think they're depreciating more than other stuff out there because, well, A, it's a luxury, well, not premium car, not luxury, but there's a lot of them. So the big choice drives the price down. And if you want to go a bit bigger, you got this, the 55 Quattro. So this is a lot more performance, 95 kilowatt hour battery, 95, 26.5 grand. And that's a 2019 one. Another highly rated, if not the most reliable, premium car, Jaguar I-Pace, 90 kilowatt hour battery, 400 brake horsepower, nice ride, nice interior, very good ride in fact, 21 grand. The reliability puts people off, and I'm sorry, but Jaguar do not have the most, well, the best or even close to the best reliability record. So this one, 24 grand, it's the SE, so it's the mid-spec instead of the base. 4-year-old car for 24 grand, premium from a Jaguar dealer, so it comes with the used Jaguar dealer warranty. Bit of peace of mind. The Polestar 2, more of an honourable mention. Didn't like it as much as a lot of other reviewers out there, kept on banging my leg on the centre console, and it's not particularly efficient either, but a 78 kilowatt hour long range, single motor, 25 grand, and it's a 71 reg car. Looks really good. The looks is its unique selling point there, although underneath it's essentially a Volvo XC40. With the same proportions, I should point out. This is one I'm keeping an eye on in the future, the Volvo XC40, just because it's utterly bonkers. I mean, it's a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old Volvo XC40 for £28,500. It's the twin motor 82 kilowatt hour version, which they all started at, I think. Essentially, it's a Polestar 2 performance, the dual motor version. It's off a shovel, shall we say. I mean, really, really fast and big battery. Not got the great efficiency like the Polestars, but if that comes down a few grand more, it ticks a lot of boxes. Now, of course, we can't do a used EV thing without mentioning a Tesla. Tesla Model 3, 2020, standard range plus. It's pretty much my car. It's even done the same sort of miles, about 50 odd thousand. Less than £20,000 for a Tesla Model 3. 240 odd brake horsepower, about 200 miles of real world range, obviously less and more in summer, winter. I've been averaging 4 miles per kilowatt hour over the last 50,000 miles throughout its entire life, and we do not drive it economically. But you have the supercharger network. That's the thing that makes it flawless to at least own. You do long journeys, you just plug in. You don't have to worry about the charging network, you don't have to worry about the charging speeds, the availability. The car just does it all for you. Tesla have a lot of flaws. Believe me, as an owner, they do. But the problem is more the company than the car, and the car itself. If you like the aesthetics, because that puts people off, some people off, it's undeniably one of the best electric cars out there. Its efficiency, its ride, the interior build quality is a lot better than people think. I think mine's solid. I haven't had anything go wrong with mine, but I am worried that if anything does go wrong, I'm going to have to deal with Tesla. For what it gives you, the tech, the efficiency, the size, because it's a fairly big car, less than 20 grand. Right, that's pretty much it. We're done. Now, big thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring it. The links and everything, as I said before, are in the description below. Don't forget the code and the QR code, everything. And we have used them for many months before any sponsorship started, which is quite unusual for a YouTube sort of sponsor. But yeah, so that's it. Have you got any cars that you would probably put on that list? Again, just because I didn't mention it doesn't mean I'm not liking it or anything like that. I just think those are particularly better options, or they have a unique selling point, or they've just got good value. They've got something in their favour that not all do. Don't forget about Driving Home, the second channel, and if you want to become a member, it's 99p for 1 month, and you get the videos on usually Sunday, occasionally I forget, instead of Friday, and a few other benefits as well. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.